tonight. Bob Hope buys NBC?
I don't have a lot of time to waste in this meeting. I'm working on that dramatization we're doing of the New York phone book.
Isn't that done yet?
No, we're having trouble casting the Joneses.
The president of NBC Entertainment, Mr. Brandon Tartikoff.
What's the problem, boss? Why did you call this emergency meeting?
Well, gang, what's the worst possible thing that could happen to NBC?
Bill Cosby's going to become a priest?
Wrong.
Let me guess, Chief. You just found out that the Ayatollah Khomeini wants to host Saturday Night Live.
It's worse still. Bob Hope wants to take over the network.
Oh, how is that possible?
That's what I'd like to know.
He doesn't know anything about running a network.
That never stopped us.
I've got it, boss. Well, why don't we just move the studio and not tell him about it?
Ah, that's no good. We moved his dressing room every week, and he still managed to find it. Well, why don't we just fire Bob Hope?
Are you kidding? You want to wake up tomorrow and read in your morning paper a headline, NBC finally gives up hope?
Well, we've got to do something.
If we want TV as we know it today, we've got to stop Hope. And it's going to be a tough job.
Well, men, over the years, I know we've had a few disagreements, and I know at times I've been petulant, rambunctious, mean, cruel, and arrogant to you. But now that I own the network, it's no more Mr. Nice Guy.
You're now our boss, Mr. Hope?
I'm everybody's boss. Didn't you notice when you came in, the peacock was kneeling? Are you sure the agreement is drawn up properly?
It has to be. No one can understand a word it says.
Well, that sounds good to me. Gosh, I'm so excited my pacemaker just kicked into overdrive.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Hope, have you ever met the current owner of NBC?
No, I've never had the pleasure.
Well, perhaps before you sign, you'd like to say hello to him.
Oh, sure, I'd love to meet him.
Would you bring him in, please?
Mr. Hope, I would like you to meet the man who currently heads the network, Mr. R.C. Victor IV.
Where's his dog? Pleased to meet you, R.C.
How's that?
I said, I'm pleased to meet you.
No, don't want any beef stew.
You'll have to excuse Mr. Victor. He's a little hard of hearing.
Yeah. Does his dog shake, too? Forgive me for saying this, but he looks terrible. I had no idea that someone that age ran the network. How old is he, anyway?
23.
23? You gotta be kidding.
Not at all. In fact, he just had a birthday yesterday. Kept him up all night.
Partying, huh?
No, trying to blow out all the candles.
I can't believe this.
I hate to tell you this, Mr. Hope, but you can see what running a TV network does to a man. When he first took over, he was youthful and robust, looked a bit like Rambo, in fact. But now, after coping with all the pressures of the job, well, you can see for yourself.
Who are you calling an elf?
No, Mr. Victor. I was just explaining some of the rigors of the job to Mr. Hope.
Well, he don't look to me like a dope. Say, when are we going to have that meeting about the changeover from black and white to color?
Again, you'll have to forgive him. The mind has turned to silly putty. See, the rigors of heading a network have taken a pretty heavy toll.
Yeah, well, how long has he had the job?
Oh, gosh, I'd say about 5, 6 weeks.
5 or 6 weeks?
That's right.
Now, wait a minute, fellas. You're telling me he's actually 23 years old, and he's aged this much after running the network for only 5 or 6 weeks?
It's true, but you have to remember he works 22 hours a day.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Not really. That leaves him an hour to get home and an hour to get back.
Actually, it's not all bad. Mr. Victor received quite an honor just this morning.
Really?
Yes, he's been named National Poster Boy for Terminal Job Stress.
You heard that. Well, let me tell you, if he looks that way at his age, what am I going to look like running a network myself, huh?
Nurse, is it time yet for my shock therapy treatment?
Why don't you sit down?
Where?
Right here.
Here you go, Mr. Victor.
Take a little rest.
Just take it easy, will you? What do I have to do to get out of this thing?
Just don't sign the papers.
You mean that's it? I can back out of the deal just like that?
No problem.
Well, in that case, gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I've got a very important appointment. What? I have to get my tires rotated. See you all.
Excuse me, Mr. Hope, but now that you're the new owner, there are some pressing network problems that you'll have to deal with right away. Johnny Carson wants a month off to marry the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Knight Rider wants to go on day shift, and Mr. T wants to be paid by the snarl.
Those aren't my problems. I'm getting out of here.
Excuse me a moment, Mr. Hope. Thanks for the memory, staging a mutiny here at NBC. You gave it a shot, we thought you were hot. Now give back your washroom key. Oh, thank you so much.
I really wanted this place to work in the beginning. Brian, I pursued it with more energy than I've ever pursued anything. And I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I am very proud of the work that's done here. I know how necessary it is. But right now, I'm just, I don't know, just confused about continuing with it.
I don't think you're confused at all. I think you're miserable.
No, wait a minute. I didn't
No,
say...
that's an observation, not an accusation. I don't blame you. But just forcing yourself to come down here every day must take an incredible amount of energy. I know I couldn't do it. But I respect you, though. I respect the commitment it took to conceive of and carry out something like this. But I also know that everybody has their limitations. And one of the surest signs that those limitations have been met is unhappiness.
Maybe. You know, I just can't get rid of this image of Jenny Henderson. Sweet, naive little Jenny Henderson sitting there on a beach in Barbados painting this cubist ocean, you know. I know why she did it, Brian. And I also know you're right. She's happy.
Well, I'm afraid she's got the market cornered on cubist landscapes. Tell you what, though. We could buy you some clay. You could pretend you're Michelangelo.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm not really sure if I want an answer to this. But are things going as well for you as I think they are?
Better.
Oh, I had to ask.
Be happy while you're living, for you're a long time dead, as my grandfather used to say. I don't know. I think the old man would be pretty pleased at how well I've taken his advice.
Brian, about the Bedford Institute.
Ah, here it comes. I must say, I thought you'd bring it up a lot sooner. Your colleague didn't even waste a hello before he made a comment.
Well, not that I think that was right, but there are rumors.
Yes, there are, and I investigated them before I accepted the position. The rumors are groundless, I assure you. But here's a question for you. How many of your patients have died since you opened this clinic?
Somewhere around 7 or 8, I guess. But you have to understand, this is a very poor neighborhood.
Exactly. The poor die, and nobody cares. But you let 3 rich, overweight, overindulged junior leaguers do away with themselves, and the public is up in arms. What the public doesn't know is that 2 of those women were friends with a man who owns the Chronicle. Suddenly the press is badgering us about questionable deaths. There's a lot of hype in this world, Ben. Surprised I have to point that out to you. Well, it's all right. Now you know better. So, when do I get to meet Lori and your son?
Tonight.
Tonight's out. I've got a commitment at the country club.
Tomorrow night.
Maybe. I might be out of town, though. A friend's calling tonight with the skiing conditions in Aspen. Now, if they're good, I'm off for a few days.
All right, wait, I'll tell you what. I'll give you my number. If you can make it, fine. If you can't, just call me when you get back and we'll set something up. There you go.
Actually, this thing at the country club could be taken care of some other time. Time you want me at your place.
Oh, all right. Good. 6:30.
That sounds reasonable. I should be going. I've got a facelift schedule in a couple of hours. It's good seeing you again.
Boy, it has been good. I'm really looking forward to having you around. You're just exactly what I need right now.
I agree.
Yeah. I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
It's harvest time. Trees full of nuts. Time for the new Mars Bar. The taste of hearty nuts with a country crunch. Sun-drenched nuts, harvested at the peak of ripeness, then toasted up golden brown. Heaps of nuts in creamy nougat, topped with caramel, rich milk chocolate, and you've got the makings of the heartiest darn crunch this country's ever tasted. The new Mars Bar. Hearty nuts with a country crunch.